What's up, y'all? Talon here. Today I'm back with another series of ranked battles featuring top teams in the Regulation F metagame. Today I have a team created by Michael Zhang, goes by Eternal Snowman online, and he's able to get 22nd place at the Portland Regional Championships out of around 500 people with a really creative team that I wanted to share with you guys. Michael actually shared this team on Twitter, including the EV spread, so I have his Twitter account along with the Pokepaste if you want to try the team on Pokemon Showdown yourself and check out the EVs. I also took the time to recreate the team in-game. If you appreciate the resource, please subscribe to the channel, give this video a like and a comment, and of course the rental code is in the top right of the video and in the description below for your use. With all that being said, let's get into a breakdown of the team now. So Latias is an interesting bring here just on its own. We've seen a bit of Latias on more balanced or tailwind focused teams, but the Latias, this is really the first time I'm seeing it. It's holding the Soldew item, which is more offensive than the Rocky helmet we usually see on Latias, but it makes sense. It gives your Psychic and Dragon type moves a 1.2 times boost. Luster Purge, a new move introduced in the Tiamat DLC. I believe it has, I want to say it's a 50% chance to drop special defense by one stage, so you can kind of compound a Luster Purge into another stronger Luster Purge or a Draco Meteor and KO a lot of things in the metagame. We also have Icy Wind on this set. There's a lot of Pokemon on this team that are kind of mid-tier speed, so having the option to go for Icy Wind and outspeed things that would typically be threats to them and then KO them back is really appreciated. Kommo-o is very similar to the one that Michael was able to bring to the Sacramento Regional Championships and actually win that whole tournament with it. Basically, it's an Iron Defense set where you go for an Iron Defense and increase your defensive stats, and go for Body Presses, which are the damage on that is dependent on your defense stat. So you're basically boosting your defense and your offense at the same time. One of the weaknesses of the Kommo-o from Sacramento over time was that because it was an Iron Head Kommo-o, with the Terra Steel, it was able to beat Flutter, but really only if it wasn't intimidated a couple times. So people would position their Landorus in front of the Kommo-o and just switch it in and out until the Kommo-o was at like -3 or -4 attack. And then suddenly, even with Terra Fairy, Moonblast, you'd still be getting one over on the Kommo-o in the long term. Here, Michael has actually changed to Flash Cannon so that you can always get the 2-hit KO on Flutter Mane with the Flash Cannon. This Kommo-o is actually also Overcoat instead of Bulletproof. It was bulletproof in Sacramento so that you could basically go for Terra Steel and then be immune to Shadow Ball from Flutter Mane. But Michael chose to go for Overcoat here, mainly to focus on beating powder-based moves, specifically Amoonguss's Spore and Rage Powder. You can ignore both of those, and that's just really appreciated. Another way that people were trying to beat Kommo-o is basically just, okay, Rage Powder away the body presses, resist that, not get KO'd, or just Spore the Kommo-o while you protect with a partner. And there wasn't a ton of really good counterplay against that, so I think it makes a lot of sense to switch over to the Overcoat on the Kommo-o for this time. Primarina is also a very unconventional bring. Just to comment on it, it feels like 5 out of 6 of these Pokemon are just very low usage Pokemon, and yeah, the Primarina, no exception. We do see a little bit of it on Trick Room teams, but this one is on pretty much a balanced team. It's running a Rocky Helmet bulky set with a bit of power. Basically, Moonblast will always KO most Urshifu, even the most special defensive ones. And their Hyper Voice is also really strong into Incineroar, getting a 2-hit KO on most Citrus Incineroar, but obviously not into the Assault Vest Incineroar that will be tanking those pretty well. Life Dew is a cool option because otherwise Kommo-os are just reliant on leftovers and Grassy Seed or Grassy Terrain to heal up. So having the option to go for a Life Dew and support it even further is really nice, and you don't have a lot of things you would otherwise want to be using on the Primarina anyways. Magmar is really cool in that it got a new tool this generation with Follow Me. So it used to have that through, I believe, either Gale of Darkness or Colosseum. You used to be able to have that, and it was really legal only in 2013 very briefly. I believe, I want to say Sejun Park actually had it on his World's Top 8 team on a really cool Hail team, but yeah, getting it through normal, I believe breeding now, I'm not totally sure about that, but you can get it within legal means for competition now. Magmar is, I believe, a 500 base stat Pokemon, so it has very reasonable bulk, and when you compound that with Eviolite, you're getting to just extreme levels of bulk, which is kind of annoying. You don't have an item, but there are definitely a lot of benefits to using the extremely bulky Eviolite Magmar, mainly the Flame Body. So as a Follow Me Pokemon, you can basically redirect attacks from Chien-Pao, Dragonite, and let you set up with Kommo-o very easily in the face of those. And if a Urshifu ever wants to dispatch you, they have to risk hitting 3 Surging Strikes into you. I believe it is Eevee to tank that on the Choice Scarf Urshifus. If they go for Terra Water, you probably only get 2 hits, but regardless, that's really cool because you get the option to burn them. If they hit 3 times into you, they're actually more likely than not to get burned. If it's 2 times, it's like pretty close to 50-50. but overall it's a really good ability on a follow me Pokemon, and the rest of the moveset is Helping Hand to boost up things like Draco Meteor on Latios to do absurd damage, and then after you've gotten 1 or 2 Iron Defenses on the Kommo-o, you can increase your body presses to absurd damage with the Helping Hand without having to set up any further. Overheat is just generally strong into things like Rillaboom and Amoonguss in the metagame, and is overall just like if you have nothing better to be doing with the Magmar, you might as well just get a big hunk of damage and then go back to Follow Me in subsequent turns. Tyranitar here is very similar to Michael's Sacramento Tyranitar, except instead of the Terra Psychic, which was pretty interesting on the other one, we switched over to a Terra Grass set, so you're unable to hit Amoonguss that hard anymore, but you're able to ignore Amoonguss, so it's also a good trade-off. You're also able to hit Urshifu regardless of if they've gone for Terra Water or not, which the Terra Psychic one did kind of have a hole for. But overall, it's a pretty standard Tyranitar. It's very fast to take advantage of Icy Wind and just generally outspeed things like Incineroar. You don't really want to be getting Parting Shotted out on before you can even go for a Low Kick or Rock Slide. Knockoff is just incredible utility and as well as really excellent damage. Last up is this very offensive Rillaboom. It's a Terra Grass Miracle Seed set, so essentially trying to go for your Terra Grass and knock out even pretty bulky Fluttermane with the Grassy Glide just makes your Kommo-o really consistent. You're mainly going for Terra Steel with that, but if you conserve your Terra long enough, Fluttermane comes in at a kind of later stage in the game, you can just go for Terra Grass on the Kommo-o and still have the benefits of the Dragon type. It's a pretty strong defensive Terra type against things like Urshifu, Ogerpon, so you can try and basically go for that win condition where you're preserving the Kommo-o as a kind of like thing where your opponent is trying to center their attention on, but it's actually the Rillaboom that's going to be the cleaner in the back. So that's a really strong set, and the Terra Grass Miracle Seed Woodhammers just do insane damage. Protect is a really good option just because you'd rather have that option to pivot around with a team like this instead of a high horsepower. Also, I feel like the body press on Kommo-o covers a lot of what you would otherwise want to be going for high horsepower into, so you don't really need that coverage. And then Fake Out, of course, is excellent to control the pace of the game by making your opponents flinch whenever Rillaboom is on the field. So you're basically offering the opportunity to either Fake Out and stop a Pokemon for a turn, allow for another of your Pokemon to get into a position, or if Rillaboom's in position, just go straight away with your grass type moves. Overall, this is one of the cooler teams I've seen in Regulation F. For my money, the coolest team at the tournament. Michael said that he was definitely capable, or at least the team was very capable of winning the tournament, or at least cutting in his opinion. But there were some lapses in play that didn't let him get there. I can definitely believe it. This team looks very cool, and I think has a lot of things that people are sleeping on in the metagame. I'm hoping some things get picked up on. Basically, other people see the potential of them and carry them out on their own team building. Time will tell, but for now, I'm really excited to be taking on the ladder. If you appreciate the team breakdowns as well as the ranked battles and the teams as a resource, please subscribe to the channel. With all that being said, let's get into the battles now. Okay, we actually have a battle between the Lati twins. We have Latios versus Latias. Their team, they have Latias, Fluttermane, Milotic, Incineroar, Landorus, and Rillaboom. I think actually Latios is quite strong. It really forces a Terra out from them, or forces them to bring the Fluttermane. Honestly, I could see... I guess Kommo-o is actually pretty bad against their team because I want to go Terra Steel in front of Fluttermane, but Landorus can then hit me with an Earth Power, which is annoying. Oh, this is actually Overcoat Kommo-o, not the one that's immune to Shadow Ball, Bulletproof, so that's interesting. I do think Primarina is actually quite strong here on lead against a lot of their Pokemon, as is Tyranitar. I think I can go for a knockout into Latios. I think Latios is very strong against a lot of their Pokemon in the back, especially with Rillaboom, so I think I actually do like that angle. I might need to preserve the Primarina. Like, I need Tyranitar and Primarina to get some big damage off into Lati, into the Incineroar, so that later in the game I can go for a Draco Meteor. I would imagine that if they aren't Citrus Berry, a Draco Meteor plus Terra Grass Woodhammer at neutral would knock out. We actually have the same, pretty similar trainers, but yeah, there's the Milotic and the Fluttermane. I think that's fine. I think I'm just gonna go Hyper Voice. Can I go Life Dew? I guess they're most likely going to go for a... Moonblast could knock me out, actually, which is concerning. And I don't have a... I could go for Terra Grass defensively, but I don't want to burn that so immediately. Huh. I think I'm going to go Hyper Voice and go for a Rock Slide here. Essentially what I'm going for is chip on either. They're switching out. Okay. Yeah, I want chip on either, essentially. They are switching in Incineroar, so both Hyper Voice and Rock Slide are very good here. If they go for a Moonblast, they like Terra Fairy here. They would need Moonblast to knock out Tyranitar. This is the weakness of running a faster Tyranitar with little bulk, because I am susceptible to a knockout if I don't Terra here. Knocking out Primarina would be annoying for sure. Yeah, that'd be actually quite bad if they went for Moonblast into Primarina instead. They do, hoping we live, but oh yeah, Primarina has great special defense, very nice. So we get the Rock Slide off, which doesn't do a lot into the Flutter Mane, but the damage into the Incineroar is huge. I feel like that is Assault Vest though, which is fine. Yeah, interesting. We are speeding their Incineroar notably. We have that Flutter Mane chipped into range of a Grassy Glide though, which is good. I feel like going for a Life Dew Rock Slide is reasonable here. They're either going to knock out my like they're faking out and then knocking out one. So I think it's in my best interest to like potentially, yeah, they go after the Tyranitar, which is fine. They go for another Moonblast, which I think confirms them to be specs, otherwise you go for Dazzle there. But yeah, Primarina does have very good natural defenses, so happy about how that's played out. Latios is definitely not an option for me in the back. I think it's definitely Rillaboom here. I wish I'd been able to do a bit more to that. Incineroar, of course, but beggars can't be choosers. I think I should live a Flare Blitz, so I should be free to go for Knockoff into the Incineroar and basically catch whatever is switching in. Do they themselves have a switch in for Grassy Glide? Yes, actually, they have a great switch in. I think I'm actually going to maybe read that and go for a... I could Wood Hammer you. I think I will. I feel like you don't switch here, or you should switch, so I'm going to go for a kind of a risky read. They do switch the Flutter Mane, so we should be taking a knockout into the Incineroar slot with the Wood Hammer, and we're getting a knockoff into the Lando. So that's good. Yeah, we're knocking out the Milotic and getting the knockoff on the Lando here, which is good. We take the knockout. Could have gone for Grassy Glide, but I wanted essentially to deal any damage to the Latias or anything else in the back. But yeah, knockoff does a ton of damage there. Knocks off their Life Orb. Unfortunately, we will be taking a lot of chip here, but that's fine. Taking a lot of chip, but we still have grassy terrain and we can threaten out their Flutter Mane. So we are chipping down, I think, at -1, I have not used my Terra. I haven't used my Terra. That's super notable, actually. Because Terra Grass should clean up everything now. I think they have to fake out my Tyranitar to have a decent play. I think I can switch into my Latios fairly safely and go for... Was that necessary? A couple more turns of grassy terrain is good. I think I'm going to go for Protect. I think I should never let my Rillaboom go down here. I think I'm just going to refresh my Intimidate and then go for a low kick into... Oh no, if they bring in Flutter Mane, that could be really bad. Oops, running out of time. Thank you, Joy-Cons. I'm actually going to go for this play. I think it leaves me a little better against the Flutter Mane. They could read this and go for a knockoff into my Tyranitar, which is probably why I should have made this play. But what I didn't want them to do is like make a really aggressive play and like U-turn or parting shot this turn. I guess it's not that aggressive. And then get in the Flutter Mane with me having switched out the Rillaboom and having Tyranitar Latios on the field against the Flutter Mane. I guess I can use my Terra at that point. But what ends up happening is we just switch in. What ends up happening is probably the more likely of the plays there. And we just get the Rillaboom in next to the Latios, and now we threaten a Grassy Glide to KO the Incineroar and a Luster Purge. Oh, I guess I can Wood Hammer. Yeah, thinking about how to optimize this turn, probably Terra Grass, Grassy Glide. Can I just go Terra Steel Latios at this point and close? Probably. I would expect so. Interesting. If I missed the Landorus, that could be a problem, but I think we knocked them out, honestly. Yeah, I feel good about Icy Wind. I think we have to miss for that to be an issue, but I guess I could have gone for Luster Purge into the Lando. I just don't know my calcs well enough. But if I know my calc, I'd probably just go Luster Purge Woodhammer there with no risk, but I didn't want that to not knock out and then just come up short with a Sludge Bomb knockoff, losing me the game. And I preserved my Terra just because I think even in spite of that... No, I don't know. I think I probably misplayed that in game pretty substantially. There's probably a 100% way to win that, but I think I do need to know my Luster Purge calc there. But yeah, Icy Wind is better than Draco, so definitely shouldn't be going for Draco there. Icy Wind is a lot safer, but now we should just be able to clean them up with Grassy Glide. But basically what hit the swing point of that battle was one, them switching out the Milotic turn 1 felt a little weird. They weren't threatening a lot of damage to me, but I wasn't really threatening them. And letting the Incineroar take all that damage made my late game much, much easier because they got a lot less value from switching in and out of their Incineroar. They kind of just had to let it stay on the field, which was annoying for them, but it also just like switching out the Flutter Mane. I understand why they did it. Like obviously they were threatened by the Grassy Glide, that's why you bring in the Rillaboom, but I felt like I was a little behind and I needed to make a read on their defensive play to actually stay in that game. I guess given that they switched into Milotic, Rillaboom, no, I think I probably do lose that game if I don't make that read, because yeah, if they get Milotic in for free, then they get to just like go into Incineroar and I can really not deal with the Milotic that quickly. But then I don't take a lot of damage on the Rillaboom. I think I'd have to look back at that game and think a little more critically about how I played it. Given they switched in the Incin first turn and it was at low HP, Milotic wouldn't have been that much of an issue. I can always Grassy Glide to KO the Flutter Mane, so I think in retrospect I actually do think I should have Grassy Glided the Flutter and just like played the game out straight instead of making many aggressive reads, but that is the benefit of the hindsight. Knowing what they were going to switch in, I can kind of project outward where I probably would have won regardless of if I made the read, but I think that is important to do when you're playing these games, is to figure out basically unnecessary risks you took or just like a little more optimal plays in terms of the RNG. Like I could have missed an Icy Wind and lost there, so identifying those and then learning what you need to, like the Luster Purge calc with the Lando, like I'll definitely look that up after this battle, is something that's super valuable in improving just from latter games. Okay, we got a Rain team from my opponent. Interestingly, they have an Armarouge, but full team being the Whimsicott, Armarouge, Pelipper, Landorus Incarnate Form, Raging Volt, and Farigiraf. So, I don't really ID a flip turn Pokemon except maybe Pelipper, but I'm not sure what he'd be flip turning to on the Armarouge slot. Overall, pretty interesting. I think Latios with Icy Wind's actually pretty good here against the Landorus, as well as slowing things down, just slowing down the pace of the game. I could see Primarina being pretty good, honestly, like very good. If I can Terra away from my weaknesses. Tyranitar is actually, what am I doing here? Tyranitar carries. Tyranitar's got to come. I think the Latios is quite strong. I think I'm going to go Latios, Primarina, Tyranitar for sure. Kommo-o looks a little scrawny against their Pokemon. I'm not sure if I can set up fast enough. And then I think I will go with probably the Rillaboom is pretty good against the electric type If I can force like Terra out of the... I guess Magmar with Latios could be of value for sure. But bringing the fire type against the rain team is a little suspect, so I think I will bring the Rillaboom just on its general strength, even though I could see situationally the Magmar allowing my Latios to handle their Raging Bolt a bit better. I think if I can like land a knockoff or something into them first, I should be fine, but it is Lando Pelipper. So they have Sandshear Storm most likely, but I don't think they're expecting Icy Wind, and I feel very safe to go for that actually. I think I'm going to go Icy Wind Protect. I could switch, there could be a Sludge Bomb coming here, but I think I'm just going to go for Sludge Bomb, Icy Wind Protect. Solid play on their part would be to go for Wide Guard. But I feel like I definitely could be like Ice Beam Latios in this situation, so a Terra Poison to me feels most likely on the Lando, but this also, if they go for that Wide Guard, they're... Okay, Terra Water. Never mind. If they're Terra Poison, they'd be opening themselves up to a Luster Purge. Most likely knockout next turn. Helping Hand, okay. I don't really see a knockout with Sludge Bomb here, and we are getting the Icy Wind off. I'll check the Primarina's speed here. I doubt I outspeed. Actually, I'm certain I don't outspeed, but we do miss the Pelipper. Okay. We probably could have outsped that next turn, but it is what it is. We do not. They did go for Helping Hand Sludge Bomb into this Primarina. Definitely annoying, but it is what it is. Okay. So I would have loved to break that Focus Sash. Terra Steel. I could Terra Steel on the Poison type move. I don't think it's really in my best interest to do so. Helping Hand, would you be Wide Guard or Tailwind on this guy? You could be any of them, actually. I feel like Sludge Bomb won't knock out my Primarina. And I can go for another... I think I'm going to go after the Landorus. I don't really feel a lot of threat from the other Pokemon. So I think I'm going to go Luster Purge... Hyper Voice, break any potential sashes, and hit anything on switch in. They go for Wide Guard, which is why we went for the Luster Purge. So I could have Luster Purge Moonblasted the Lando, but given the Icy Wind Mist, I felt like I needed to break a Focus Sash there. That does a lot of damage. We actually could have KO'd with Draco. They go for Sludge Bomb. They can't poison because of course, the speed. Or not the speed. They can't go for... They can't get a poison because of Sheer Force, right? I think Icy Wind is a fair enough play. I kind of doubt they go for a... Do I think they'll Wide Guard again? Probably not. They might just go for a Protect here, but I kind of want to go for Icy Wind Moonblast into the Pelipper. I think they could Protect, so I'm going to go for that. I feel like Wide Guard doesn't make a lot of sense from them. Yeah, they do protect the Lando, so we do get that read correct. Icy Wind will knock the Pelipper slower than my Primarina if we connect this time. And they probably live Moonblast, but there's a chance they knock out. Pelipper is pretty frail on the special defensive side. Yeah, they do live, but we have a chance to lower it with this special attack. Nope, they get the Hurricane off, and they don't knock out. That's all good. Yeah, now we have a very safe Luster Purge plus Moonblast, actually. And they don't really have a switch in. So I'm going to double that Lando slot, just in case they like try and switch in Raging Bolt or something like that. I want to catch that. They could also be switching in the Armarouge here, but it is the Farigiraf, so the special defense drop into the Moonblast damage is definitely going to do a ton. It would have been a little nicer to have gotten the Hyper Voice off, of course, but with the threat of the Wide Guard in the field, I felt it was a lot safer, especially with the potential Raging Bolt coming in to hit that. Yep, and we do take that very, very low, dropping as much as we can. Is Luster Purge actually 100% drop? I'm not certain about it. I kind of want to say it is, but it could be 50%. I'm not, like I said, not certain about it. So we have a KO here, I'm pretty sure, with Luster Purge onto the Farigiraf, and we have been shown to outspeed the Pelipper with Moonblast. Yeah, they go for a Hail Mary wide guard expecting, or like going for a misplay basically, but we should just have the knockout with the Luster Purge. We saw how much it did on switch in, and we do. That is just a strength of the Latios. Even if a KO or like a damage roll is tight the first time, the special defense drop is always just going to be compounding and making your damage more and more the more turns you have on the field. And though Latios isn't like the most, it doesn't stick around that much, but even 2 turns on the field hitting 2 Luster Purges or a Luster Purge into a Draco Meteor is just really, really strong, especially with the Soul Dew boosting that combination. Like we didn't like 25 to 30 to a resist because of that Soul Dew, and just had a very easy play because of that. So they do have Thunderclap guy here, and they've chipped me low enough to take a knockout for sure. I do feel like Tyranitar kind of cleans up here, so overall we should be good. I want to lower the speed stats a little bit, but I could also just go for Draco. I think they're more or less forced to go for a defensive play. I'm just going to take any damage I can with Hyper Voice, honestly. Like, they probably go Thunderclap into my Latios to knock that out, so I can't Draco Meteor them. And if they Sludge Bomb crit me or just knock me out, it's a little annoying, but I don't think I gained much by going for Protect, truthfully. Yeah, we survive, and we should knock out the Lando with Hyper Voice and get a little bit of chip onto the Raging Bolt. That should be fine. At this point, I think we should win with Tyranitar. They've already revealed their Terra. Maybe they learn Low Kick or something like that, but they are a leftover set. I think we should beat them with Tyranitar and Rillaboom in the back, especially having not used our Terra type. And the Assault Vest, we should be good. Like, I think even with the resist, the Terra Grass Wood Hammer should be doing like close to 40 to this guy. We'll just go for knockoff, and I guess Life Dew if they let me attack. Well, if they let me attack, I should always just... Yeah, I don't think Life Dew does anything here. They were actually a faster Raging Bolt, interesting. So they could have paralyzed me there, but we do have that covered with the Moonblast. I guess I have to remember the Raging Bolt isn't that slow. It's like, what, 75 around base speed? So you can definitely tech that to be a bit quicker on a Tailwind or a... yeah, they have Whimsicott, so they do have probably a Tailwind speed stat, but speeding even my max speed Tyranitar is kind of surprising. So thinking back on that one, I think Latios was definitely a very good lead. It has great special defense, and just the forcing their Lando to Terra with the Icy Wind was really important. Now, if they'd gone for a wide guard on the first turn, that would have been really good. They definitely could have. I could have been like Specs Dazzling Gleam, Specs Hyper Voice in the Primarina. So I think if I run that battle back, I probably either just go for a Draco onto the Lando turn 1, or go for a Luster Purge to make the next turn easier. But overall, I definitely think I brought the right Pokemon there. I never had to bring out the Tyranitar and Rillaboom aggressively, but leading Primarina and the Latios was just really difficult for my opponent to deal with immediately. They would have needed to probably have Raging Bolt. I felt like everything they could have led, Tyranitar would have covered on switch in, so I feel pretty good about the brings in that battle. Okay, interesting team from my opponent. They have Ninetales, Tinkaton, Baxcalibur, Hisuian Goodra, the Primarina, and then the Noivern. The Noivern could be Tailwind. I imagine it's just like maybe Calm Mind Primarina potentially, or Assault Vest, or Choice Specs. Goodra, probably a Heavy Slam set, which I should outdamage with my Kommo-o. I think Kommo-o is actually very, very strong here. Terra Steel is really good against most of their Pokemon, actually. Like, Flash Cannon should knock out the Ninetales, maybe even through a Royal, but I'm not certain about it. Tyranitar's coming in back for sure to deny them a attack there. I think I can freely get the Iron Defense up with the Magmar, potentially. Do I want to lead a little more aggressively? I guess the Primarina is actually quite strong here. I think handling the Goodra could be a challenge, actually, if I don't get the boosts up fast enough, but I think I should be covered with these guys. I don't really think I want to give them a boost with the, like I don't want to give them grassy terrain and healing on their team, but maybe I should, I'm not exactly sure. I could go Latios, but I think actually Norvern outspeeds that, so I will leave Latios on the bench again. I think against a more offensive, like middle speed team, this would be better, but I think just having the Tyranitar in the back as well as the, I believe the Primarina. I'm not entirely sure what I brought in the back actually. All I know is I brought the kommo-o. I'm going to try and get the Iron Defense up as early as possible. Tinkaton Ninetales is fine. Yeah, Primarina is okay. I don't really want to get encored that badly, truth be told. So I think actually a Terra Steel Flash Cannon is pretty safe, and just switch out into the Tyranitar feels fine. Like I could get Gigaton hammered on the Tyranitar for sure, but I think the main value in this Tyranitar is actually just denying the Hail, or the Snow Aurora Veil. So if I can do that and trade like 80% of my HP on the Tyranitar, I think that's worthwhile, given I don't know a lot about their team, and it looks like the only way they'd be able to overpower my kommo-o is with setup of their own. And given my kommo-o went for the Terastallization before they have, I'm going to assume the Ninetales is knock on for its own Terra. Tinkaton's still an option, and I went for the Terra here, even though Fake Out is definitely an option from them, just because I don't want them to go for like Dazzling Gleam or something like that. It does end up being a Fake Out, but they're unable to set up Aurora Veil because of the Tyranitar. So that's all good. I think I'm going to go for a... I think I'm going to go Iron Defense and actually reveal my Magmar in the back. They can't Encore me. That would be one of my concerns on the kommo-o. I guess they could be Thunder Wave Tinkaton, which would be annoying. But if they are, they are. I think a Gigaton into the Tyranitar makes a lot of sense as well. Taunt could be an option, definitely. I could go on the offensive here, but I think the potential gain on getting the Iron Defense is just so huge that, given I don't know a lot of the details of their team, I would rather just go for that. And they switch in the Goodra, so a Body Press would have done a ton of damage into that on switch in, but again, if I can get this Body Press up and they don't have Thunder Wave, I am in such good shape. They do go for Gigaton, we do have a chance to... I bet that's not a contact move. They get a critical hit, but with Magmar's insane bulk, we're still able to tank that. So that's all good. We are taking a hit. I think I'm going to go Iron Defense plus Follow Me here. Well, yeah, I just don't want to get Encored is my main concern. That would be like Encore or Thunder Wave is how I could lose this game. I think I should outdamage the Goodra 1v1. Baby Doll Eyes. That is not what I was expecting. I think that kind of frees up my Magmar slot to go for another move in the next turns, but yeah, that's quite interesting on their part. They go for Body Press, but yeah, given the Eviolite and the... Oh my goodness, yeah, that's showing the value of the Magmar in this battle, just the immense physical bulk. It is a 500 base stat Pokemon as a pre-evolution, and you have Eviolite stacked on top of that, so the Follow Me, or the physical bulk is just insane when we've invested so much into that. I think at this point the Goodra is pretty much not even worth paying attention to. But regardless, I'll just go for a Follow Me, play it safe. They could be Baby Doll Eyes and like Thunder Wave or Encore or something, so in that case, I just want to get rid of the Tinkaton. I think the Goodra at this point is pretty much not a threat, given they... Oh, okay. Alright, Tinkaton goes for Protect, so Fake Out Gigaton, Baby Doll, and Protect. I can pretty much just ignore that Pokemon now. Yep, so we are moving before the Goodra with the Body Press, so next turn we can just slam that guy. They go Acid Armor finally, but yeah, I think we can just go for Helping Hand Body Press and knock that out. Like, I don't have anything to fear from the Tinkaton. Gigaton probably knocks me out, but I don't think it really matters. In fact, I don't think I should actually even give them the Magmar yet, when I can just protect, stall out their Gigaton turn, and then knock out the Goodra. Like, Goodra really isn't a threat. But if they somehow were able to heal their burn, I don't want that damage to get out of control. Like, I don't think they have heal bell on any of their Pokemon. That's unlikely to me, but it's possible. So I'm going to try and play this as clean as possible, given that they already revealed all the moves on the Tinkaton, so there's no uncertainty or fear of that slot at all. Yeah, we do knock the Goodra pretty low. They are Rocky Helmet. And they go for Life Dew that turn. Interesting. Okay. That's fine, I think. I'm just going to keep holding on to this Magmar, honestly. I'm not taking Sandstorm Chip anymore. But that's pretty interesting from them. Life Orb Rocky Helmet Life Dew. All good. I think I do just have a Iron Defense Overheat KO into the Goodra here. And I don't have a lot to worry about. I actually love how Magmar just looks at the screen. I think Body Press is just going to knock out the Tinkaton. They could go for Protect, but then we're just in the same spot where I'm going for that. Okay, yeah, they're switching a Pokemon in on the Overheat, which, if it's Baxcalibur, could be an option, but it is the Ninetales, okay. Maybe they're on Core Ninetales and they're trying to catch me going for a defensive play. But given we hit Overheat this turn, we should be kind of chilling here. They also sacrificed their Acid Armors there. And we just knock out the Ninetales, so now we don't even need to switch in the Tyranitar on a Gigaton at any point to stop a... Aurora Veil. We just have the +6 kommo of our own and no dual screens for them. So this is kind of showing the value of the Magmar. Like, it's just such a bulky Pokemon and a difficult obstacle to deal with, as well as offering decent power in the Overheat. It's kind of like Quiver Dance or Rage Powder. Okay. Yeah, definitely understand where my opponent's coming from there. Just definitely a very frustrating Pokemon to play against, especially when the Flame Body rolls are not in your favor. It's such a nuisance. It's so bulky, and having that nuke option in the Overheat is just the cherry on top. Okay, cool team. They have Hisuian Goodra, Cresselia, Landorus, and Incineroar. Ogerpon, Amoonguss. Okay, so it looks like a lot of resources to support this. Support the Hisuian Goodra. I think Kommo actually has a field day here. Cresselia is annoying if I don't have Terra left, but yeah, knockoff for the leftovers might be a bit of an issue, but I think in the grand scheme, not too annoying. Swords Dance, Ogerpon is actually reasonably likely, so I might need to have that covered. I am Overcoat Kommo. That's really, really valuable against the Amoonguss. I'm going to lead the Kommo, I think. I could see Rillaboom being good to offer Fake Out support, honestly. And I think I will do that. And to get that the speed on the field right away. I don't think Tyranitar is that good. Like, beating Cresselia is cool, but I think the Magmar defensively, very good. Can handle the Amoonguss to some extent. And then I think Latios is kind of calling my name. I think Primarina is probably a safer bet for me. Yeah, Primarina is a lot safer. But I might need the speed. I think Icy Wind could be of value. I think I'm going to give Latios a shot. Just because I should be able to handle Incineroar a bit better, and I could use a little more juice into beating the Amoonguss. I guess that's not true because I have Overcoat to ignore Rage Powder and Spore. But I'm not sure. I think knowing the Ogerpon set would make this a lot easier or harder. I think my goal this battle is to get the Kommo-o set up and probably try to avoid... Like, if I were reviewing this battle, I think the main thing is if I keep leftovers on Kommo-o, I can always beat whatever they have. But it is Cresselia and Lando. I feel pretty good about this lead. Feel very solid about this. I think I'm just going to go Fake Out Iron Defense. Terra Steel, and there's not a whole lot they can do about it offensively. If they're Covert Cloak on the Lando, hats off, that's good, but they also have to make a Stomping Tantrum read to get there, when they also have Terra Blast onto my Rillaboom. Like, I'm not threading a lot of damage here, which is annoying for sure, but they're really not threatening it either. And even if they're like a Calm Mind, I guess the Calm Mind Stored Power Cresselia could be of concern. But seeing the Terra on my Kommo-o confirms that they did not go for a Terra Grass on the Lando. But maybe they just went like Stomping Tantrum Moonblast into my Kommo-o, so trying to cover for that. I think worst case is probably them being Calm Mind Stored Power Crest because I did not bring my Tyranitar here. And we are outspeeding Cresselia, which could be of note. Trick Room is interesting. Okay. We should be outspeeding Lando with Rillaboom actually, so that's fine. I think I'm going to switch out into the Magmar because I think a U-turn is likely to come out this turn. I think actual worst case this battle is them being Trick Room, Cresselia. I mean, Trick Room, Calm Mind, Stored Power, Moonblast, Cresselia. That could be an issue. And like Sandshear Storm, Special Landorus Therian. That could actually be an issue. Like they burn me, they do a bunch of damage, they 2-hit KO me while I don't 2-hit KO them back. But yeah, they're switching out the Cresselia. I think probably not that. Maybe their Amoonguss going to try and get a Spore off. Oh yeah, this is unfortunately the issue with best of one is, yeah, they don't know that I'm not Bulletproof Kommo-o. I'm actually not certain. I think I checked it right, and Andrew is actually Overcoat and not Bulletproof. Let me just confirm that real quickly, because that is actually like kind of important to knowing. Yeah, he was Overcoat. He did realize, okay, don't really need to just be the completely walling Fluttermane set on this. We're going to go for the anti-Amoonguss set, and yeah, that is going to work out very well here. And I'm just going to go for probably another Iron Defense, or no, Body Press first, I think. Well, the Amoonguss is kind of annoying. I think I will just go for Body Press this turn and Protect. That way I can go for Follow Me the next turn to stop any Pollen Puff from them. We are committing to a Terra on the Goodra, which is interesting. It is Terra Fairy, so that is smart, but unfortunately I do have Flash. Oh, Terra Poison. That's perfectly ideal for them, actually. Okay. I think regardless, we should still beat them 1v1 with our Kommo-o because we have the Stab on our... Actually, no. Yeah, they did Spore into the Kommo-o, unfortunately. They go for Shelter. Okay. That Terra Poison is a concern for sure. So we kind of counter best of one to each other this turn. Especially because I went for that play. Okay, we're not going to be doing much damage there. Yeah, they probably can out-damage me, unfortunately, because I have Terra Steel and I do not have an appropriate counter Terra to them. But we do have Latios to beat them in the later game. So just going to try and avoid the spores from the Amoonguss and try and apply a Fake Out into the Goodra to slow it down one turn. They do go for Spore into the Rillaboom, of course, and we're probably going to be trading Shelters. Yeah, I should have gone for Iron Defense the previous turn to actually scout for Terra. I think that was a mistake on my part, but I was hoping they'd play a little bit greedy with their Terra, maybe go for a Rage Powder worst case, but given Magmar was on the field and threatening a Fire-type move, I think that was unlikely. A bit of a reach on my part, most likely. At this point, we should be 2-hit KOing the Amoonguss, though, and we're stalling out to the last turn of Trick Room. Lando is definitely going to get 2-hit KO'd on switch in, so yeah, I'm just going to apply the Fake Out pressure into the Goodra. And we don't really have to stall them out, we just have to stall them to a point where they don't, where I can just knock them out with the Luster Purge combination. I think 2 Luster Purges should get them. There is the Pollen Puff, of course, but I think we should 2-hit KO them with the Body Press here. Yeah, very easily. They'd have to be Citrus to survive, which they're not. Okay, that's good. I don't really want to take a Body Press here on my Latios just yet. So I think I will actually Protect here. No, I'll go into my Magmar because if they go for that body press, they definitely not switch out the kommo-o. I will lose on the spot if I do that. Yeah, I'm gonna switch in my Magmar here because eventually they'll have to attack into my Magmar, at which point the body presses will handle them, or the flame body will eventually burn them. Protect Amoonguss, definitely fair. But again, this buys me a turn, I think, for them to attack into my Magmar. So they go for body press, which is interesting. Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. Now we gotta dig. Now we gotta dig out of this game. Okay. So that's annoying for sure, but I don't think it's the end of the world. Like, that's definitely super bad, but I think because we have Latios, the game is not immediately lost. Pretty close to it, but not quite. I think they could I think I should Psychic. I should Luster Purge into the... Yeah, that's annoying. It would have taken them a couple of turns of those with the leftovers and grassy terrain to actually knock out the kommo-o, but them getting that crit that turn is an issue, but as I often talk about in this channel, the more setup oriented your strategy is, the more turns you're giving your opponent to get those. But we do get the Psychic, the Luster Purge into the... into this guy real quick, which is good. We knock out the Amoonguss, they'll probably go into Lando, I imagine, which is fine. Is it fine? Having burned my Terra, it's not great. And I'm giving them the Psychic terrain as well, that's of concern. I think this is okay though. They probably go Lando. Yeah, going for an Icy Wind most likely. That's fine because we can go for Luster Purge, force a switch potentially, and fake out the Lando. And I imagine this is a 2-hit KO after the special defense drop, but it might be close. I think Soldu probably pushes us into it. They do get the double protect though. That's definitely problematic for sure. That is super annoying, but it is what it is. Okay. That's fine. The annoying part is I could have Icy Winded. Yeah, that sucks. Okay. Now they have U-turn into me, unfortunately. Yeah, this is pretty bad. Not being able to hit that was pretty bad. I needed that chip that turn, as well as the special defense drop. Now, whenever they get Trick Room up, it's going to be very hard to hit two of them. So if they U-turn in my Rillaboom here, they probably will just win. Which they don't. Thankfully, they lock into U-turn on the Latios slot. But if they body press correctly here, they could win. Okay, they don't. Okay, let's think about this. Yeah, I think I have to follow me. Let's think here. They probably just switch into Cresselia, but I guess that's not the biggest deal if they do. The issue is Luster Purge is actually not... Oh, they actually do just fire off the U-turn, unless they're Assault Vest or something. Yeah, the main problem here is that the Luster Purge is limited PP. Oh, we potentially get a crit there. Oh, we don't. Oh my god. Soldu is so crazy. We don't get a burn there, which is annoying, but we do get the chance to on the Hisuian Gudra this turn. That did a lot of damage. If I had known I could have just gone for Helping Hand, I might have gone for it. There's the body press. If this, yeah, it doesn't knock out, and we do activate the Flame Body that turn, that's so nice. Okay. That is super huge. I think an Overheat might even knock out the Gudra here. It's probably Moonblast on you. I think I'm going to go Luster Purge actually again and switch into Rillaboom. Do I like that play? Not really. I don't love that. Okay. Yeah, closing this out is interesting. One more turn of grassy terrain, so I should not switch in Rillaboom this turn, definitely. I think Follow Me is right, most likely. Yeah, I think Follow Me Luster Purge is good into the protecting Goodra. I guess they can Lunar Blessing away the damage, but they can't Lunar Blessing away the... they can Lunar Blessing away the burn, the damage output from that, but I think that's fine because we have a knockout with Luster Purge regardless. And I doubt it's Dazzling Gleam or Icy Wind Cresselia. No, yeah, it's Trick Room. I think Magmar is doing pretty well here. We can also burn them again, but I don't think it matters. I think we just go for another Luster Purge into this Goodra. Yeah, Luster Purge is just such a crazy move. Turns out we had the knockout even without the drop, but yeah, I think the turns might be working out pretty well here. They probably don't have a knockout into my Latios, but I don't want to risk like an Ice Beam Freeze or something silly. I would rather just take the damage on the Magmar and then knock out. Oh, that did so little. Oh, because they're slower than the Lunar Blessing. Yeah, that feels like an oversight. If you're running the Trick Room, Lunar Blessing, I generally try and get my Cresselia slower than my sweepers that want to recover from like burn or sleep. It's just generally a good practice. Like if you're going to Trick Room, you don't want to have your Trick Room turns mitigated by just a oversight in your speed ordering. So that's really good. At this point, we should just close with Rillaboom. I don't see how they win. I think we confirmed they were choice, but I'm not sure. I could try and stall out Trick Room. I have used my Terra, okay. Let's think this through. I feel like Draco is clean knockout in the Lando, but I don't have to go for it, do I? I think Luster Purge is again safe. I just go Follow Me. Luster Purge, they'd have to be Scarf, or they'd have to be like not Scarf, and I had to have misread the speeds, but yeah, they go for Lunar Blessing. They might have lived a Draco. It's definitely possible. Oh, they were not Scarf. My bad. Okay. So that's interesting. I don't think it matters too much as long as we don't flinch here. Yeah, we don't flinch, so that will put the Lando in range for the Woodhammer. Maybe. Definitely in range of the Grassy Glide. But this might be a little weird, but what I'm actually going to do this turn is not attacking the Lando. They have used their Terra, so I should always beat them with a Grassy Glide. Actually, no, that's silly. It depends on how slow their Lando is. I guess I could lose if it's like min speed. I feel like a U-turn would knock me out on the Latios, so I don't want to risk that yet. Two Lunar Blessings. Would you live that? Probably no. Rock Slide. I don't know. This endgame's kind of funky to me. I'm going to Fake Out, even though I could have, if they were like an Assault Vest or something, yeah, I could have gone for Fake Out Luster Purge. But again, I don't know my roles that well. They're going for Psychic finally. Trying to beat the Latios that way, which is fine. I'm going to go for the Luster Purge. It should. And what I'm doing by that is basically priming the Cresselia for a Draco, worst case, at the end of the game. But we don't drop them. Are they Covert Cloak? That'd be interesting. We have Grassy Glide into that anyway, so it should be fine. May also lower the special defense drop. Special defense stat. I guess it was 50% the whole time. And I just got exceedingly lucky, or was taking KOs whenever I used it. Yep, we get the Grassy Glide. We knock out the Landorus, and despite all the trouble that Goodra gave us, we were able to close it out, it looks like, just based off of the power of the Luster Purge Latios against their Terra Poison Goodra. It definitely looked like pretty dire after they got that, but being able to close that out against the opposing body press user was definitely nice, especially when they had the typing advantage on us. At this point, though, we do have probably a knockout. I want to see how much Draco does, honestly. Oh, do we get the drop? Sorry for being a nuisance with how I'm controlling the screen. Better play, probably Icy Wind. Woodhammer. They do actually decide to play it out. We'll see how much Icy Wind does. Probably a fair chunk. Yep. And I didn't go for Draco. I was like, what's one way this game could go bad? Maybe them having Ice Beam for some reason, but I feel like just lowering their speed and going for a Woodhammer is always going to get us pretty close. So good game to them. It was definitely very scary when they crit us, but that's just a lesson. Like, don't necessarily give up if you get a bit of luck, if you lose your centerpiece, if you have strong backup, if you feel like you still have any way to beat their Pokemon any out. Definitely worth playing it out, at least for the exercise and playing in those situations. Like, I have a friend who, like, even if he knows like the game state's probably lost, he plays them out just to see like if there's maybe some positions where it's like, oh, there was actually an opportunity right there where I could have won, and just incorporating that in future games when you wouldn't have seen it if you had just like forfeited the game anyways. I think that's a pretty good practice when you're practicing on the ladder. So yeah, glad we were able to keep our head down and actually come out with a win on that one. They have Muk, most likely with Power of Alchemy, Smeargle with Moody, Co-Star, Flamigo, probably Psych Up, Latias, and Cresselia, and then Incineroar. I think I've actually seen this team. Psych Up is actually kind of problematic for this guy. Life Dew is kind of interesting. I could stall out a bunch of their Pokemon that way. It's not Lunar Blessing, so I can't actually heal myself. I could Follow Me away any Psych Ups, which is maybe what I want to go for. I maybe go for Terra Grass. That'd be interesting. But Latios seems kind of okay, but I don't want to get knocked off. I'm not exactly sure. I think Hyper Voice is pretty strong here. It's not 100% accurate, I don't think, so that's kind of an issue, but it is what it is. Actually, Overcoat, Kommo-o seems strong. I might just go for that mode, truthfully. Like, immediately go Terra Steel, that seems pretty strong. I don't hate that, actually. I kind of want to get Sand on the field and chipping that Muk down, truthfully. I think I can redirect Rage Powder, and then last mon, I think Primarina is a little bit better than Rillaboom, just because I can't really KO the Muk, the Latias, or the Cresselia that quickly. But I'm definitely very subject to their boosts here. This team doesn't have a lot of proactive options, like super immediately proactive to take KOs, so I do have to figure out how to outplay the boosts, basically. I think what I'm going to go for here is a Terra Steel and immediately go Iron Defense, just try and set that up, and then I'm going to knock off the... Well, actually, I don't want to give them power. They're going to go for minimizes. Yeah. So I think I'll actually knock off the Muk if I get the opportunity. I should be able to stall it down with Sand. So I think that's what I'm going for here. If they don't follow me, fine. But I'm trying to go for a knockoff to take away their item on the Muk. That way they have limited recovery and we can potentially KO that before anything scary comes out. They go Fake Out, which is fine. We're going to get that knockoff to the Muk before they get the minimize, most likely. Yep, definitely fine with that. That did pretty decent damage, and now any damage on them is permanent. Yep, there's the minimize, of course. I think my best course of action is maybe to... could go after the Smeargle. Definitely an option. They have gotten the minimize up. I guess the Psych Ups are going to be annoying no matter what. Okay, let's think this through. I think I want the Magmar in next turn, but I don't want my Tyranitar to fall asleep yet. So I want to get an Iron Defense, I think. Life 2 is not super useful. I wish I was like safety goggles somewhere on this team, but I have the overcoat instead. I think I'm gonna go rock slide. Basically burn a turn. My idea here is if I can avoid... Yeah, they go for Spore right away, but if they'd gone for Follow Me or something, that would have been good. We're getting... The thing is, if I never give them Moody, that all they will have are minimized boosts, which is annoying, but like not the worst thing in the world. So I kind of want to avoid KOing this Smeargle for as long as I can. They go knockoff, okay, so smart play. They have actually taken away my recovery now, but they are getting chipped by sand. I definitely did have a shot at their Muk that turn, which is a little annoying, but it is what it is. I think I'm going to go for another Iron Defense, truthfully. I don't have any reason to take a KO here. It's probably not the most fast-paced way to play the game, but it's how I'm going to go. Actually, probably do not want to wake up here. Smartly, they're not... It would have been ideal if I had missed the Smeargle. Their defense boost is actually probably working against them. I also hit the Muk, which is very huge. If I'm able to knock off the Smeargle and hit the... Wait, is Body Press one of the moves that... I don't think it's like Heavy Slam where it doubles in power if it's a minimized target. I don't think it is, but we are doing a lot of stall on this Muk here. Like, we can probably knock them out. The only issue is I actually can't attack with the Tyranitar, which is interesting. How many turns of minimized did they have? They only have 2. So I wanted to, I could go for a knockout here. Let me look at the boosts on that Smeargle though. 2 defense boosts. I think knockoff is definitely going to KO them. I'm going to go for another Iron Defense, boost my damage, and then I think I'm actually going to Terra Blast my own kommo-o. Yeah, they protect the Muk. I'm not taking that KO if I can avoid it. Yeah, we actually KO. Wait, did... Oh, Smeargle Explosion or something? Did they follow me? I'm not following what the Smeargle did that turn. Spore. Oh, they lowered their speed. Okay, that's cool. Regardless, I think that's fine. I think the goal here is going to be... Yeah. Speed rises. That's a little annoying because now they could Spore my switch in. But what I want to do is I'm going to look at the turns of sand. Sorry, my Joy-Cons keep disconnecting on me. But yeah, I'm going to look at my sand turns. I have one more turn of sand. So I think now is the turn to switch out the Tyranitar and actually go for a Flash. Body Press is fine into this guy. And switch into the Magmar. Now they could catch me on a Spore this turn, which would be definitely annoying, but I feel like a Follow Me is more likely of an option. So they are going for Follow Me, which is fine. Because they never got in... I don't believe Moody can actually give evasion boosts anymore, so we take a KO with the Body Press, give them on the Muk the Power of Alchemy, which is fine because we can actually KO it with Sand in a few turns once we switch Tyranitar back in. But here's the thing. They are aiming... Oh, I guess they have Co-Star guy, right? That's a little annoying for sure. They're going to take the minimized boosts, I guess. I might just have to hit this guy, the Flamigo. I think we're stopping the Psych Up combination pretty well, though, so I'm fine with that. And they have no offensive boosts yet. There is the Cresselia. I think they're going to go for Psych Up. At this point, this is fine. I can just go for Body Press for a few turns in a row and just try and stop this setup. If they had Flamigo in the back, I think that would have been way better for them. But yeah, they are going to go for a Psych Up, which actually does go through Protect, I believe. But there's no way in the game, outside of the Stalwart ability as far as I'm aware, to ignore the Follow Me if you don't have an increased priority move. So we can just go pretty freely for, yeah, sustained Body Presses. I guess I could just go after the Cresselia, truthfully enough. Yeah, this Muk could be a bit of an issue, so I'm actually going to go after Cresselia. No, they just protected. I guess there's no guarantee I'll ever hit them, so they do have a potential way to stall out my body presses. And with the defense raises, I'm not totally sure. Yeah, I think I just need to start targeting into the Cresselia. They go for knockoff, which does a lot. I guess they got a speed boost at some point. They're going to be increasing their damage over time. That's okay. We don't get a knockout there. They're going for Lunar Blessing, so they did have a way to heal. I kind of forgot about that. But all in all, that's okay. I'm glad I didn't whiff a body press into that now because overheat. I imagine body press shouldn't knock out. It would be a little bit shy. I think an overheat will. I need to check my speed on the Magmar though. I think it's going to be a little bit close. 114. Cresselia could outspeed me here, I think. That's definitely a possibility. +4 defense. If they steal my Psych Up, that'd be an issue, honestly. Well, I guess there'll be lowered special defense. I think overall I just really don't want to allow them the opportunity to get a Psych Up if they are a faster Cresselia, which we should find out this turn. If they're faster than my Magmar, that looked like it actually did less, which is weird. But at this point, I think a overheat plus a body press should knock out. I need to double check my kommo-o to Magmar speed. Yeah, they go for another knockoff. It's doing about the same damage because... Oh, we do get a burn. So yeah, Flame Body actually activating in a big way for us there. With the Sandstream damage and the burn, we're actually going to be able to chip down the Muk very quickly in the late game. It's unlikely they have... Is there any reason not to just go for another Follow Me? I don't really think so. Yeah, like on some level I could go for overheat, but if they go for Psych Up, I could be in some big trouble. I need to check the speed on the Magmar actually. Oh, I'm actually faster. There's like a 90% chance I could just knock out the Cresselia here with overheat. But I don't really want to risk that. Especially with the burn active on the Muk, I think I'm actually going to try and capitalize on that and take a knockout here. Yep, we're going for an overheat. It should do a fair chunk to the Cresselia. Body press is going to be kind of tight, but I think we should have a KO here. Yeah, we do get that knockout, so that we're able to deny them the Lunar Blessing, notably keeping the burn on the Muk. So although they are boosting up and potentially just by virtue of it being a +2 to a -1 boost, over time eventually they would get to +6 on all stats, but without any healing, with the burn and potentially sand in the late game chipping them down, I'm not really worried about the Muk. I'm worried, okay, that's interesting, they finally went out to that. So the Flamigo is pretty interesting and quite annoying actually. The defense boost is kind of tough, but they never got an attack boost. The issue I guess is sand more so. I think I want to put sand on the field. Yeah, that's interesting. They could have Roost, which is a problem. I'm not sure if I want to tank close combat yet or not. I think I might just go body press into you and then follow me, I guess. The defense boosts are pretty unfortunate that they ended up getting them. Otherwise, if I landed a body press, it would get pretty close to a knockout on the Flamigo, but at this point, we're probably hoping we just burn them with the Flame Body, which it doesndoesn't look like we did, unfortunately. That's okay. One burn on the Muk is definitely fair enough. They will be taking recoil. They are Life Orb. I guess, I wonder if they're... I wonder if they... Yeah, we missed the body press, which is fair. I think we should have the Muk handled, though. I think I'm going to go into the Tyranitar now, just to chip the Muk down. 4 turns, or 5 turns, rather. They're going to be taking Life Orb Chip. They're going to be taking Brave Bird Recoil on the Primarina. I think with Rocky Helmet, we should be able to win this. I don't have to stall turns that effectively. I think I just want to go for a Rock Slide gets him chipped. They should just be going after the Tyranitar, I imagine, at some point. But thankfully, I'm not too worried about this Flamigo. They revealed a Life Orb. If they're the substitute set, that could be, like, substitute Roost, that'd be a little annoying. Double Kick, okay. That's quite interesting. So rather than risking them, like lowering your defensive stats, they have Double Kick so that you just have like a 60 base power move or something, which I think is kind of weird, but maybe indicative that they don't have close combat. I'm not sure. We are wearing them down with Storm and Life Orb chip though, which is the intention of bringing that Pokemon in. At this point, Muk shouldn't have a way to heal, and they should be knocked out or very close to it by the time Sand ends, which is good. The speed boosts are a little concerning. I think if they can knock out my Primarina, that would be kind of problematic, but they also have not burned their Terra, which is interesting. Lowered special defense is really good. The Muk's kind of annoying. I think they never got an attack boost. I really should beat the Flamigo if I ever hit it. I think Flash Cannon might actually be a better bet here against it though. I'm going to go for a Protect, stall out another turn, and try and hit the Flash Cannon. Are they going Terra Steel? That would just open themselves up for an immediate knockout to Body Press later on, but that's fine. Ghost. Ghost's smart, but fortunately we do have the Flash Cannon. They are Roost, okay. So that's annoying, but again, if we hit the Flash Cannon ever, we're kind of chilling. They go Knock Off, which is smart, because they could have knocked off my Rocky Helmet. Thankfully, I protected, kind of anticipating something like that. We do actually hit the Flash Cannon, which with the Terra as well as the -2 special defense does very close to a knockout. They're actually forced to Roost again. So that's pretty incredible. I think that's good, yeah. So a few more turns of Sand. The Burn will always kill the Muk. Take that knockout for me, so I don't even have to target into it. The only presence it's doing is applying the knockoffs into this guy, but I can always just go for Hyper Voice and then heal off with Life Dew any damage in the future. They're going for a Roost, but yeah, they did get the maximum minimizes off, but if I even hit one attack into them, they do just lose. Oh yeah, and that Rocky Helmet is going to accelerate the downfall of the Muk even further, but if we hit this Hyper Voice, we're kind of chilling. At any point, if we hit the Hyper Voice. We look like we're going to be hitting neither. Okay. So the important thing is that the Flamigo actually never got an attack raise, and given they're stuck at -2 special defense and the Flash Cannons are doing so much, I think we should pretty much always beat them with Life Dew support. So I think that's actually what I'm going to go for here. I'm going to go for a Life Dew and a Flash Cannon. Like, Rocky Helmet would have been ideal for me here to hold on to, but didn't get to. Now it's just a matter of hitting them, I think. I don't really know the math on on minimize. I think like if you're at +6, I actually have a 1/6 chance to hit you, but I'm not certain about that. It could be 1/8 or something like that, but yeah, we're chipping them very low. That might be just shy of Sand range, but we're actually seeing the value of the Life Dew on the Primarina here. Not exactly what I had in mind for the first battle with this team. We'll see where I actually place the video just for retention purposes. Of course, yeah, we actually do get the Sand chip, so Tyranitar coming in clutch did what? Accumulatively 5 times like 30, like 5 turns of Sand, that's about 30 per 30 HP, 30% per turn. Across 2 Mons, 60, and then across 2 Sands, that is 120. So we basically ended up taking KO with Sand. We do in the literal sense there on the Flamigo. So yeah, they were able to get the minimize up, but because they didn't get favorable attack boosts, that is kind of the nature of these teams with the Moody, is if you don't get Power of Alchemy quick enough, you're kind of just like, you have evasiveness, yeah, but like you're not able to pass it effectively to your back Pokemon, and that's really what happened there. Is although they did have the psych up, we denied the psych up. They had the co-star in the back. They weren't able to get Moody activated early enough to get the odds going to get favorable enough boosts. So now they could have, you know, potentially just gotten immediately +6 attack, and that could have been a problem if they were plus on the minimize. But I think with the pre-Marina's Brave Bird and the Iron defenses, I probably would have been fine as long as they bite into the Rocky Helmet, and eventually I do get like just one single hit into the Flamigo. So interesting how to navigate. Andrew did say that off-meta teams are a little more difficult for this sort of team that is targeting the metagame to handle, so we're able to handle it despite that. So that will do it for our battles featuring Michael Zhang's unconventional team here. I was really impressed by the Latios' damage output. Kommo-o, as always, is a very excellent win condition to drive to, and actually I was most impressed by the Magmar on this team. I was kind of expecting it to be kind of gimmicky, but the rate at which Flamebot, like, people just have to attack in the Magmar, and every time they're doing so, it's such an enormous risk. So you get the consistent utility of Follow Me and Helping Hand, and then every once in a while, the game swing widely in your favor with Flame Body. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel. With all that being said, peace y'all.